So why don't we move on to our Q&A um, uh, here. If you've got questions, please put them in the chat. And looks like we've got a first question here. What suggestions would you give to someone who feels from coworkers constant feelings of being less than? So you're being put down by coworkers, I presume, or from administrators. What kind of suggestions would you give to someone who's experiencing that? Let's start with Ricky and Wayne, and then I'll sort of follow up.
I kind of mentioned just focus on the solution. I beat myself up for so many years. I ran my contractor business so it was a little bit more personal with my clients instead of just an end user at a company I oversee with a long list of departments and users. But I still, when I went full time at Primitive to 100 users, I still treated them as if they're contractor clients. So there's like that one-on-one basis, as if I did them wrong or something like that, or they took something the wrong way, that they're not going to pay my bills or something's bad about to happen. So just realize and focus. Try not to tie emotion to things. It's so easy to want to get worked up over something, to feel like they're trying to be, trying to either tell you you're not doing a good job, tell you you're not working fast enough, you're not giving the right solution. Just focus on your job. Don't put any emotion to it. Yes, we're human. Yes, it's hard. Try not to put emotion to it. Just provide the solution. That's my best advice for that.
Yeah, I'm not like the most philosophical person in the world, but like I personally, when somebody has something negative to say about something that I have accomplished, I used to take it personally all the time.
Oh yeah.
And it's hard not to react to that stuff. We're all human. It's no different than you being out, in public. You would think like some people would have like some kind of like manners or tact or something like that. But sometimes people forget they're at work sometimes. They get comfortable. And so I would recommend anybody who's feeling any certain type of way about your interactions, your progression as an employee, or just as a person in general. There's this good book called The Four Agreements, I believe it's called. And there's like an extra one called The Fifth Agreement. And it just talks about like these four rules that you should go by, like don't take anything personal, understand that everybody lives in a different reality. Like if you think of like the Matrix, like everybody is in their own little world. I noticed that you guys might have froze up a bit, so I don't know if like I cut out.
Thanks, Wayne. That's great. I want to get to some of these other ones. What I would say too is that, very quickly, is that what you cultivate in times of peace on your own, you can bring to any sort of stressful environment. So it's really critical that we do work on things like self-esteem, which is oftentimes something that we don't work on actively, and that we're actively working that on our own so that we can deal with people who aren't treating us well. Let's go on to the next question here. I tend to find that work by IT technicians is not usually noticed by end users unless something isn't working or has gone wrong. If a lot of work has gone into making something work properly, end users do not tend to notice the effort that has gone into that project. How do you balance your own mental health and self-efficacy in these moments?
I used to take this one. This is a pretty big one on me for many years. This was tough for me to kind of swallow. It was one thing where I kind of caused more grief to myself than what was actually happening. Is I actually went to lunch with my CFO, which is my boss, manager at Primitive, and he goes, Ricky, you're so hard on yourself. You do so much for the company. And I go, I do? You notice it? Like everybody notices? And he goes, everybody speaks very highly of you. Keep doing what you're doing. So you don't realize that you're doing well until, hopefully it's not too late, but just, one thing that's helped me kind of cope with this is it is still tough. End users might not be upper management. They might not always know what you're doing. Upper management might, whether it's a budget or a new thing that you're talking about launching. But, if it's working smoothly or if it's working as best as it's capable of working, that's us doing our job. That's, we need to keep things stable. We need to keep things upgraded. We need to keep them secure and compliant. And if we're doing that, that's what our job role really is. I used to like to dance around and be like, look at me, look at this big project, look what I did, please give me a trophy. It's like, that's not what professionals need to really do. So, turning 40 this coming year ago, what does a controlled professional Ricky look like? And that's what it looks like to me, is just, provide the solution. I keep saying that solution thing. So that's my take on it. It's hard. You want to get noticed for things, believe me, and you don't, people only notice that negativity of something not working. But I do get some kickback. New product, new data. We just put Ignite in place. A lot of people are like, this is amazing. We love this cloud drive. We don't know why you did it, but now we do. So our users are pretty cool. They will say something positive here and there, which I'll take as a small win, definitely.
Thank you, Rick. I want to remind everybody that we are being recorded here, and we are going to hang out a little bit after past the hour, so we can get to some more of these questions. So if you're here and you're available, please stick on. Wayne, thoughts for you about that last question? End users who might not be appreciating all the hard work that you all do.
Yeah, I think I'll keep it short. What I would do is propose to your management, maybe like when you guys are working on, large projects for the infrastructure to improve quality of service or quality of life of things at work, is just to send a summary out to the entire company to let them know, like, hey, we accomplished this project, to make like work easier for you. Here are the people who are involved, and kind of highlight their involvement in that. That's what our company just recently started doing. So a lot of people know that I was responsible for, our Windows migration that I allowed people to do from home. I scripted all of it and all that stuff, and a lot of work went into it. And of course, you want to be recognized, but at the end of the day, the end user, the computer or whatever vessel they're using, is a means to an end. They don't understand everything that goes into it. They just want it to work. So I totally understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
We've been doing something similar, Wayne. I'll just add on that real quick, Wayne, is we're doing something similar with our Slack announcement, kind of where either upper management or myself will introduce a new project or something, and you get the little thumbs up or something, or maybe you might get a sad face because it's changed. But that's very important. I think those little things are great, using Teams or Slack or something, or email even, to kind of get noticed there.
And as I often say to clients, right, being strength focused is kind of a revolutionary idea, right? And we all know, anybody who's ever done any gardening knows that you can weed all you want, you can pay attention to those weeds, but unless you're doing cultivation, right, and cultivation of things that are going right, then you're really not going to grow anything. And so that's an important piece. Really simple but important question here. Any ideas on how to set the expectation that we aren't going to work at lunchtime? So, hey, we actually need a lunch. We're going to, we need a break. Any practical ideas on how to set that expectation?
Wayne and I don't know if we call it like baby
ahead,
time,
Ricky.
I think. No, Wayne, you go for it. I'm just gonna say, Wayne and I, we probably call it baby time now. I don't know if it's lunchtime anymore, but Wayne, I'll let you carry this one.
Every other 15 minutes of my life is baby time now. I'm a stay-at-home dad and a sysadmin now. So as far as that expectation of not going to work, what I told Ricky the other day is the most powerful thing you can tell someone at work is no. Depends on how you want to deliver it. If you want to ease somebody into that no, but you need to set boundaries, because the more that you make yourself available to, be, hate to use the words, taken advantage of, the more it's going to happen.
Right.
Yeah, boundaries, that's simple, boundaries for that. Wayne, I'm not sure how many time zones you're working with, but we're pretty much California based. We might have a couple external virtual assistants and stuff on, like maybe 10 hours ahead or something like that. But, aside from the time zone disconnect, everybody's pretty respectful on things. But, if you get something at 12 to 1 o'clock, even if I take lunch at 3 to 4, I still make sure I set those boundaries and look at it. The majority of those requests are not a 911. So, with the priority side of things, is it a heart attack? Is it a finger cut? What is it? If it is, then okay, I can drop my sandwich on the table and possibly help if it is a true 911 for something. But you pretty much can gauge things now and set those boundaries, which is nice.
Yeah, and from a social psychology perspective, what we know is that when we're in relationship with anybody or we're in a group, right, certain norms get set, and you know this intuitively, right? Whether it's with your partner, whether it's with your friends, your family, your workplace. So certain norms get set. And it is really important to reassess those norms from time to time. And sometimes you just have to break them, right? And that is, by the way that you do that is reestablishing boundaries and resetting norms. And you can do that very explicitly and say, there's a norm that's happened here. We need to reset it. And 90% of the time, people around you are fine with that because they're trying to do the same thing in their own lives.
Please subscribe and check out more content from us.